Hi, welcome back. We are live here on the beautiful campus of Alcorn State University on this Monday night, 6 days away from the season opener. I get asked often, you ready for some football? I wasn't in the summertime, but I am now. Welcome to the Fred McNair Radio Show. Charles Evan here, our producer across the way. Jamario Brooks will be taking your calls. 601-877-6595. 601-877-6595. You can send me an email, football@alcorn.edu. You can tweet a question in at Tall Man Radio. Keisha Shelby is here. She'll be talking with Coach McNair as well, so we've got the full gang here on this season premiere. Coach, welcome, and it's an honor to be a part of your radio program.
Thanks, Charles. It's always a pleasure to be in the presence of you, man. You always put a smile on my face.
You know what? You said it's always Christmas in a situation like this. With your alma mater now, you're running the show. You know, has it settled down for you? Is it sped up? I guess it never does settle down, does it?
Well, you're right about that. It never does settle down. Just the fact that, playing here and being able to come back and coach at the university that you always love, and the passion you have for it and the pride you take in it, it means a lot to me. And not only for me, but I have my brothers played here also as well. Just being able to come back and help this university in a positive aspect of football. Just being able to come back and coach, and I thank Dr. Rankins and Derek Horn for their looking at me and giving me the opportunity to come in and head this program.
You know, when you were introduced at the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, you were pretty emotional, of course, about the opportunity. It was a quick transition because signing day was just a few days away, and the assistant coaches really had to get it done. Some left, many stayed, and then all that transition had to put a class together.
Well, that's the biggest thing. You always in mind as a coach, you always kind of put your sight on being a head coach one day, and what will you do when you put in that situation as far as hiring a staff and bringing the good people that surround you to make you better as a head coach. And I think that the one thing that I did was right off the bat just made Coach Thomas the defensive coordinator, because he's been a part of this program for 4 years now, and I think he's done a tremendous job on the back end of the defense, where he's been ranked number one in the secondary in pass defense. And just the idea of him knowing what he's doing in the back end, and also having the insight on what's going on up front with the guys on the defensive line and the linebacker position. So then bringing in Cedric Thornton, he's coached in the SWAC before, Alabama State and Texas Southern. So that was an addition to the program. It's just having somebody that know a lot more than the SWAC football style and the way it's played. And with addition to that on defense, adding Kyle Stewart as a defensive line coach from the University of Memphis. Tremendous guy, high energy guy. I like his style of coaching, the way he really get after those guys on the defensive line and just shows them technique, fundamental stuff that they need to know as far as playing this sport. And also on the other side of the ball, we added Coach Elliot Ratner from the University of Indiana as a fullback tight end coach, a great guy, knows football, great character guy. Not only that, when you're dealing with coaches, they have to wear more than one hat. So the thing was that he brought to the table was his compliance stuff that he knows as far as being able to be compliance eligible and all that stuff for his NC2A. And then adding Brian Hayes, and not knowing he was from Mississippi, but great addition to guy to bring in and take my spot at the quarterback coaching job. And he's a tremendous guy, knows football. And that's what you have to build your staff around, the guys who really know the ins and outs of not only the X's and O's, but making sure the kids is academic, their standards and everything. So, and then, promoting Kenya Tolbert, which he's been a good help for me, almost a right-hand guy, as far as the stuff that we need to get done, as far as academic stuff and the administration part of the football standpoint. But overall, it's been a great transition. I'm enjoying it and having a good time with it. It's not always smooth at first, but I think it's starting to smooth out now, and the surface is starting to lay level for it. So it's been good.
Before we go to our first break, and we'll start with the offense, and Keisha's got a question. We'll get to her after the break. Coach, the biggest adjustment, or maybe the easiest, promoting your defensive coordinator. When you look at that position and you look at Coach Thomas, I'm sure that was the easiest one you had to make.
Oh, it was, and it was a no-brainer. Up until we had the signee party up in Jackson, and we already knowing that those coaches going to leave, and they just want to be a part of that moment for us, the signing class, and one thing that Coach Thomas came and stood beside me and said, he want to be the first interview for the D coordinator job, and right off the hat, it was a no-brainer for me. And I told him right there, that's your job, wasn't no interview process for that, and I didn't think I needed one because I know what kind of coach Thomas is and what he brings to the table for his energy and stuff, how to get those guys to perform on that side of the ball. So that was a no-brainer there.
9 minutes after 6 o'clock, we'll take a break. We'll get a question in for Keisha. Comments, don't forget you can send me a tweet, Tall Man Radio. You can send an email, football@allcorn.edu, or give me a call, 601-877-6595. If you want to talk to head coach Fred McNair, as the Braves will fly out on Friday, play on Sunday, and come back Sunday night. We'll take a break. We'll be right back in 1 minute on the Fred McNair Radio Show. For you. Another exciting season of All-Corn Braves football coming your way right here on the flagship station of the All-Corn Football Radio Network, WPRL and WPRL.org. Hello, folks. I'm Charles Desmond. Glad you could join us for another exciting season of Braves football. Joining me in the booth is Dr. David Crosby, Emmanuel Barnes, Jay Miles, Judge Cedric Bush, and on the sidelines, Cedric Tillman with live pregame and postgame coverage. The season kicks off Sunday, September 4th, down in Daytona Beach, Florida, against the Cognac champs, the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. They were a play away from being in Atlanta a year ago. We'll have all the exciting action, every first down and touchdown. You can catch all the action right here at 91.7 WPRL, WPRL.org. All right, welcome back. We are live here. We are live here at the Fred McNair Radio Show here at the flagship station, WPRL 91.7 FM, and online at WPRL.org. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. Jamario Brooks will take care of you over in Studio A. And Keisha Shelby, who's been working with us, last 2 or 3 years? 3 years, she's counting. The last 3 years, a big-time All-Corn supporter. Lived down in Houston, was pumping up All-Corn down there, and she's back at home. Keisha, welcome again.
Thanks, Charles. Hi, Coach.
All right, Keisha.
You got a question, Keisha?
Well, of course, Coach, it's been quite a few months now since you've taken the helm. Congratulations again, officially. Charles talked about the transition for you going ahead, Coach, and your coaching staff, but what has the transition been like for the team? Has it been easy for them to just kind of gel with the new staff?
Yeah, I could say that. When I was announced, and I had a couple of players up there at the press conference, Lenoir Footman, Antonio Day, Charles Hughes. Those guys were there along with me during the press conference, and then when I got back on campus and we had a team meeting, the first team meeting was wild, and I think when I walked in, the guy was just clapping and just cheering, and I think the transition for those guys has been very well, and they know what to expect from me. They know what kind of coach I am, and they know what my expectations are, and what our goal we're trying to set for this year. So the transition's been good. The kids have been very, very much cooperative in everything they're doing, and they've been in compliance and all. So it's been an easy transition for them, I think. And like I tell them, it's not that hard. Just do what's right, and we'll be okay on and off the field. So I think the transition has been very good.
Right. Well, that was going to be my next question. Like, what are your expectations of them? But you already answered that question. But, just the few players that I've talked to, like asking them how are things going with the transition, I've heard nothing but positive things. And they are ready to play.
Oh,
They
yeah,
are ready to play for you. So
I tell you what, Antonio Dade, he said it right on the last interview that we had with Channel 16, I think it was, and he was just like, we're just tired of just beating up one
right,
another.
he's ready to hit somebody
Just
other
trying
than
to
his
hit somebody
teammate.
other than your teammates. So it's been good. I think the players they're very excited about playing this year, and you know, I can't ask for anything better than what we have as a team and as a coaching staff right now. So I'm excited about it. I'm overwhelmed, and I told the guys, they said, well, are you nervous? I said, well, probably not as nervous I would if I would be the starting quarterback right now. So it's been good, and I thank the guys for, you know, just giving me that opportunity to be a part of their lives and being part of this, to lead this program.
All right, Keisha, we'll check back in with you. Let's start with the offense, Coach. And, of course, you can give us a call, 601-877-6595, 601-877-6595. You look at the offense and you evaluate it at fall camp. It all starts and stops with Lenore's Footman. And, of course, when you look at Lenore's Footman in terms of what he did coming in the situation that he did, it was something special, wasn't it?
I tell you what, you know, I always, and during my meetings at the time when I was a quarterback coach, I always, you know, let those guys know it's next man up. So anytime that one of the guys go down, and you got to be ready to play. And I think the Southern game was a prime example of him just being ready to play when his number was called, and without even hesitation, you know, he comes in and does an outstanding job and remain the starter for the rest of the season. So he's a great player. He does everything right, and you know, just want to make sure that, you know, his passing efficiency goes up and being more consistent in his passing game. So no doubt his running ability that he has, he's going to bring a lot to the table for us in his offense. So you know, we're just looking forward to him just having a great year this year.
Yeah, talk about the biggest difference that you see during the offseason from what you see right now to last year.
You know, I think the biggest thing is just the excitement of the kids right now and how well they're taking things in stride and just being a focus of everything that we're trying to teach them during the camp and everything. So I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, I think they're being more focused on what we got at task, you know, and you talk about doing the unbelievable things in such a three-peat and all this kind of stuff, and they understand what it takes to do that. The hard work and dedication throughout the whole process, and I think they doing it all, and I can't be much pleased with those guys where they've handled the task.
The biggest question I thought going into the off season was who's the number 2. So, 6 days from opening day, has that been determined?
Well, I tell you what, we had 2 backup guys that did a tremendous job over the spring and during the course of the camp. Noah Johnson and DeAndre Pickett-White. They've been doing a tremendous job. But right now, if you have to lean towards one, Noah Johnson will probably be the backup for right now. But he's done a great job, and like I said, taking coaching is the biggest thing. You know, all the guys that you know you kind of run in contact with, they can take coaching as well as they do. It's been tremendous work for them guys during the whole process. You know, when you redshirt them in the first year they're here, and then they come back the next year, they should be almost ready to play fundamental technique-wise and stuff. So that's where they're at right now. So I think if we had to go with a guy, we'll probably be Noah Johnson for number 2.
So right now, Noah Johnson, the number 2 quarterback. In the backfield, we lost Darian Ragsdale. However, a transformation of sorts. Marquise Warford, who was the wide receiver last year, will go back to his natural position. He had never played wide receiver in his football career until last year. And with the loss of Ragsdale, now you slide Warford into the number 1 slot in the backfield.
I tell you what, you can't say enough about Marquise, and he's a competitor by nature. Everything he does with full speed, and that's one of the things that you know he has to understand that sometimes he just have to know when enough is enough as far as fight for extra yardage. But he handled the transition very well, doing the things that he can do in the backfield with his speed and all the moves he has. So other than that, I think he's done a tremendous job in the transition with Coach Geis, you know, coaching the running backs, and you know we should have a powerhouse at running back. I mean, I think all the guys that return, and you got different kind of players at that spot. You got speed, you got strength, you got they bring something different to the table. All of them does. So those guys in the backfield, I think, will be okay.
Then the other guy that we're looking at, this kid just comes out of nowhere, and everybody's kind of talking about him, the number 3 guy in the backfield. Talk about that.
Well, you know, the thing is about, I hope it's Darius Dean, you know, he's a pretty good player. And then you got DeLance Turner in the same scenario. But those guys there have been very good at what they're doing. So if they just keep on improving the way they are, it'll be a whole lot better backfield than we have in the past. So we're looking forward for them guys to step up and just make plays. I'm
kind of ready to see DeLance Turner. I think he's been talked about quite a bit over the last year or so.
I'll tell you what, DeLance, he's an unbelievable guy. I tried to recruit DeLance out of high school at Perry Central, you know, when I first got here, and he chose the JUCO route, but, you know, I stayed on top of him and went down there at Colin and had a long talk with him during the recruiting process, and, you know, he wanted to stay in the state, so, you know, there was an opportunity for him to be right at home here in Mississippi, so he's going to be a tremendous guy, very strong runner. Brings a lot to the table, what he does as far as blocking and catching the ball out of the backfield and stuff. So he's been tremendous as a player.
We got a bunch of wide receivers once again. Of course, Warford sliding over to the running back slot, and Charles Hughes is one of the veteran wide receivers. You know, he kind of worked his way up the depth chart over the last couple of years, and just talking with him, seems like he's ready to take on that leadership role.
Tell you what, one day during the spring, me and Charles had a conversation, and you know, he just said, Coach Mack, you know, 3rd down, just throw it to me, you know, and that just saying a lot when a player tell you that they really want the ball. And had a tremendous season last year, had a lot of catches last year. He's a sure-handed guy, you know, and him and the Norris, they stay out and practice every day and throw extra balls and catches and all that kind of stuff. So somewhere down that line, there will be a kind of a connection there. It's almost like you throwing the ball to where somebody you know you're going to catch it and make a play for you. And that's what you look for. You look for one of those guys that's, hey, sure-handed, going to make a play. Plus you got Orlando Vills. He's been a tremendous guy. Had a great camp. Does everything right, blocking on the perimeter. You know, Ladarius Davis coming back from a knee, but he's been tremendous as well. Got a redshirt freshman, Radarius Anderson, good tall kid, lanky, good receiver. So we got some lengthy guys out there at that receiver spot that's going to make plays for us. You know, we just got to make sure that we hold up and give those guys a chance to make plays for us.
Then up next, we talk about the offensive line, and that brings up a tweet from Alexis Smith. How are the new offensive linemen coming together?
I tell you what, it's been a great ride for Coach Stanchek. I mean, that's a challenge for him. So, you know, my hat's off to him. He's a great coach. You can't say enough about the way the offensive line been playing over the course of the years since he's been here. But, you know, you got Antonio Day, which would be the anchor of the offensive line. He's the vet. And I think he's doing a great job of bringing those younger guys along with what we're doing here on offense. And with the addition of Deontay Brooks, you got William Gardner, you got Mustafa. You got a lot of guys that played a lot last year that's going to be able to come in and make plays for us on that offensive line. Kevin Hall, you know, he's a freshman, but Coach Stanchek is very excited about this kid, just watching him. And he's just a raw kid right now, but Coach Stanchek is really working with him to get him better. So if it can be done on that offensive line, Coach Stanchek can get it done for us.
Feel good about the offense?
Oh yeah, I feel great about it. You know, I think just make plays for us. You know, I think all those guys up to the task, and it's gonna make it happen.
22 minutes after 6 o'clock, we'll take a timeout. Some tweets are coming in. The Atlanta chapter chiming in, and we'll get to those questions and comments. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. We'll talk about the defense, special teams. We'll get into that. And, of course, later on, we'll talk with Bethune-Cookman's head coach. Got a chance to talk with him as well. We'll be back after this timeout on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
If you're a business owner and are looking to promote your product, look no further than Alcorn State University Athletics Marketing and Advertising. A great way to get the word out. Whether it's on pocket schedule, call radio advertising, and Alcorn site advertising on allcornsports.com, signage at the various athletic venues, as well as game sponsorship opportunities. Athletics has it all. For more information, call Athletics Director Derek Horn at 601-877-6500 or Larry Smith at 601-877-2413. Great sponsorship packages are available. That's all Florida State University Athletics, Marketing, and Advertising. For more information, call Derek Horn at 601-877-6500 or Larry Smith at 601-877-2413.
All right, 23 minutes after the hour here on the Fred McNair Radio Show. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. Let's talk about the defense, Coach McNair, led by first-year defensive coordinator Cedric Thomas. You talked about it earlier. It was a no-brainer. And he talks about the opportunity from the secondary coach and now this great opportunity to run the defense.
Allowed me to come in to bring in. It's basically been an easy transition.
Easy transition, and he's as fiery as they come, and even though he's driving the car, he's driving it hard.
Oh yeah, he drives a fast car. I tell you what, like I said, he's done a tremendous job just getting that staff on that side of the ball ready up and running for the spring and also for the camp. So I can't say enough of good things about Coach Thomas. He's been there, and like I said, the transition was easy for me to make that decision. So he got some guys that's gonna be ready to play. I think those guys are hungry, and they're gonna play for him. They know how he coach. So with that said, he's just gonna be a very energetic guy, and he's gonna give it his all day in and day out from the first meeting in the morning, staff meeting, to the last meeting at night. So he's really putting out his work.
Well, let's talk about the guys up front. That's the most important aspect. Michael Brooks, Ian Bradley, and Stacy Garner. Those three guys, well, those are some pretty good anchors.
And they are, and they've been playing together for about 3 years now. They're actually going on third year, the guys playing with them. But those are some good guys. I think Michael Brooks he's a big, strong guy. Done picked up a little weight, and he carried it well, and does a lot of good things for us. So Kenyon Bradley hold down the three technique, and is doing a good job at that. Guys that know the game. They've done played it before. They've been in the system for a while, and we expect big things out of those guys up front. Stacy Gordon, a long length guy, and playing that Wolf at that position, he's doing an outstanding job. So those guys are going to have to be anchored down, and with some of the backups we got in, Vermonte Bell and Terry Willington, those guys there is big for us. So we got depth on our defensive line, so we just got to keep plugging. So we got some young guys we're going to bring along, and hopefully those guys be able to help those guys out in the long haul.
How impressive is it in Birmingham, one of your defensive leaders, Michael Hearns, that you brought to Birmingham? Not only he's one of the top tacklers from a year ago, but he's the SGA president, kind of the voice of the students. So he's pulling double duty here.
Just listen to Mike yesterday at the convocation yesterday we had in the ballroom, and Mike, he's a great guy. You can't help but love Mike as a player and as an individual. That's just the way Mike is. You ask Mike a question, he's going to give you a quick answer, and it's going to be a good one. So he's bringing a lot to the table at that linebacker position for us, and he's going to do a lot of great things. I think Coach Thornton doing a great job with those linebackers, with Darren Anderson, and those guys are very fired up about it. So I know just watching Coach Thornton in the individual group and stuff, how he handles the kids and how he gets them ready to play. It's very exciting to watch.
On the back end, a great story, I think, is Diego Sama. He came in as a wide receiver, was hurt in a drill a couple of years ago, and now he's been transformed on the defensive side. Talk about that and how he's been able to deal with that. I mean, he's on social media a lot. I see that, and he's got a lot of passion, a lot of emotion, and a lot of energy.
That's a testimony for everybody, I tell you, man, because if you just think about what Diego been through and up until the point to where he was Googling his rehab sometime and finding stuff to try to make him better as far as his hip was concerned, and just to come back and have no problem at all with it and everything, just go ahead and still competing. You know, I'm talking about he doing things that he really not supposed to be doing in the whole process of his rehab, and I'm like, he gonna hurt himself, and but I guess by him Googling the rehab and all that kind of stuff kind of helped him out. So, but he's been a phenomenal guy, and that's been a testimony to this team, to where he came back and being one of the guys that's starting that corner, and he's done a tremendous job. And Coach Thomas loved him, and like I said, he's just done a great job, in everything that he's been doing this season.
A lot of talent back there. We talked about some DeAndre Smith, Quentin Smith, LaShawn Ely, and Eric Foster. Talk about that.
And that was some great guys, and these are guys that want to be out there every down. Eric Foster, actually just had a talk with him last week, and just trying to make sure that he's ready to play, and all that kind of stuff. But Quentin Smith, he's a great guy. DeAndre Smith, those guys are very competitive, and I think the job that Coach Thomas doing on the back end back there is a tremendous job with those young guys, and with the other guys that's been playing. Just like I said, we got some guys that's been in the fire, but just really haven't just been tested. But we got some depth at those positions, but we just right now we just need to just keep plugging. I think Coach Thomas, for a job he's doing with those guys in the secondary.
Tell you what, it's never an off day with Coach Thomas on the field, is it?
No, sir, it's not never an off day. And I go down there, sometime I watch the individual drill when the defensive back is doing it, and I'm like, it's far beyond me. I wouldn't be able to do it. So, but those guys, they love him, and they're going to play for him. That's what I like about him. No matter what he put them through, no matter how, they know his standards are high too, so they're going to play for him. And that's what I like about the whole defensive side of the ball. They love Coach Thomas. They're going to play for him. They're going to play hard for him. So anytime you got that in the players on that side of the ball and knowing what they know as a staff, those guys are very easy to be perceptive to what you're doing.
Halfway through the Fred McNair Radio Show, the season premiere, 601-877-6595. We got some tweets that have come in. We'll get to those. We'll talk about special teams, and we'll kick around some other stuff. We'll talk about the SWAC and what we can expect there. And we'll also talk about Bethune-Cookman. We'll talk with Terry Sims, the head coach of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. We'll be heading down that way on Friday. We play on Sunday. We'll take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
Get ready, ASU and surrounding areas, as the Alcorn State University Extension Program hosts the Extension This Week radio show. Extension This Week will offer weekly highlights of Extension's current and future programs, events, and activities. It will also offer important information in areas such as community gardening, health and fitness, and community resource development. We will air live from the reservation every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m., hosted by 4-H youth specialist Ms. Manola Irby. So tune in to Wprl 91.7 FM Alcorn Public Radio, or you can also listen on the web at www.wprl.org.
All right, as we approach the bottom of the hour, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening live to the Alcorn Football Radio Network.
You are tuned in to Wprl 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
Halfway through the Fred McNair Radio Show on this Monday night, Charles Edmond here with Keisha Shelby, Fred McNair, Mr. Larry Sanders shooting it for ASU Mass Communications, and Jamario Brooks over in Studio A taking your phone calls. All right, let's talk about special teams, because there's some moving pieces there. Hayden McRaney, all-conference kicker, all-conference punter. He's been doing all the kicking chores, but another kid has stepped up in the fray, and Corey McCullough. Talk about him.
I'll tell you what, he's been a tremendous player throughout this whole camp, and just having him here and just watching him kick and watching his work habits and stuff like that. I think Corey been doing a tremendous job punting, kicking off, and kicking extra points and stuff. So he's going to be a very important piece of this puzzle once we start laying it down and putting it together. So we look for great things from Corey, and hope he just continue to do good work that he's been doing throughout this camp.
What is the status of Hayden McRaney?
Well, right now we just I haven't got a chance to see him today and see what his status is as far as the trainers releasing him and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully today he's padded up and ready to roll today. Just good amount of injuries, just nicks and stuff that always takes effect. And kickers especially been kicking by themselves for a couple of years and not having anybody else to take any part of the kicking game, just him alone. So just dealing with a couple of nicks and stuff like that. I think he's coming around pretty good with it. But like I said, next man up my way. So I think Corey will do a good job for us. Very confident in himself and does a lot of great things.
All right, so punt and kickoff returns. Who will be doing those duties?
Well, of course, kickoff return, we're going to probably, with TJ, Travaris Johnson, do the kickoff return part and just take a little bit of workload off Marquise Wolford in that aspect of the kicking game and return stuff. So I think he'll still return punts for us. Marquise will, with the addition of Charles Hughes and the other guys there too. So we'll just take a little pressure off Marquise, and we got Brady Smith doing a little kickoff return as well. So right now we're still undecided, but we pretty much sure that those two guys will be starting for us in the kickoff and punt return.
With all the wide receivers that we have, and I'm sure every one of them wants to do punt and kickoff returns, that's a pretty competitive unit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a suicide mission, Charles. I've done it before, and then you're looking up for that ball and not knowing what kind of attitude those guys got coming down to hit you. You don't know if they're gonna stop when you say fair catch or not, but it's a tough job, and I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you want to do it. So I think those guys up for the task and all that kind of stuff to do it. And with Marquise, he's done it before, and TJ, he's been back there before on kickoff return. So those guys are gonna be good. They're gonna be good at what they do back there.
35 minutes after, we'll take a timeout. We'll get to some of the tweets, and we'll give you some ticket information when we come back in 1 minute. The Fred McNair Radio Show, the season premiere. We're going to turn the corner a little bit and focus on the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. They were a play or two away from being in Atlanta. We'd have been looking at them if a play here, a play there. They were co-champs with North Carolina A&T. So we'll be talking with their head coach coming up later in the program. We'll take a 1 minute break. We'll be right back after this on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
Alcorn State University and the Trademark and Licensing Administration have joined to coordinate the placement of the university marks, both externally and internally, on items including shirts, caps, or other products. The university licenses will only use those products which reflect positively upon the university and are in keeping with the university's mission. The trademark and licensing of the Alcorn State University insignia was established to protect the Alcorn State University name and identifying marks. Trademark and Licensing Administration works to preserve and promote the university's long-standing reputation as a center of academic and athletic excellence. Merchandise vendors wishing to use the university's identifying marks on commercial products must be licensed vendors who have obtained permission to use Alcorn State University marks by securing trademark licenses. Campus organizations that want university identifying marks on their internal use products must hire licensed vendors to produce these items. To learn more about the licensing and trademark requirements, visit www.alcorn.edu/trademark and licensing administration.
All right, 36 minutes after the hour here on the Fred McNair Radio Show. Coach, for several years you were up in the box. Now you're on the field. What's that feeling going to be like?
It'd probably be a good feeling, Charles. Probably no different. Just being able to now to interact with the referees and all, and just being on the sideline with the team, and just seeing their emotions when they play, and just seeing the guys when they come out, what kind of attitude they have when they come off the field, and just seeing the guys see if they're ready to play or not. So just being there on the sideline would be totally different for me, for game one. So I guess once that first kickoff is done, and I'll be ready then. So, but it'll be good feeling. So I can't say enough about it. But I'm just glad I'm in that position right now.
I often wonder, with a new head coach, what type of coach are they on the sidelines or in practice? Coach Hobson was involved and interactive in a lot of different areas, but you're a little different. You're kind of in the middle and letting your assistants do their thing.
I mean, that's one thing that when you hire assistant coaches, that's what they're for. So they've been doing a good job, and I may go intervene for a minute or so, or just some way or another. But those guys have been doing a tremendous job, and I told them I would not come in the ring with them unless it's necessary. This is something that I see that need to be addressed. But those guys have been doing a good job. But I'm still an offensive guy by nature, so I think I stay in the offensive room more than I do the defensive room. So, just dealing with those guys, they know my expectations. They gonna put the best out there they can. So they gonna put that product out of the field that's gonna help us win ball games.
If you have a question or comment, of course, you can follow me on Twitter, Tall Man Radio, and on Facebook, Charles Edmond. I want to send a shout out to Cedric Tillman, who does our sideline. He actually introduced me to all this social media. This time last year, I was terrified of social media, absolutely terrified. Now I can't do without it. I mean, you have to live and learn, and it's a good thing. You have to be careful, but if you just handle your thing, you'll be fine, and I love it.
That's right, Charles. I don't even have it. I don't even deal with it, so I'm with you on that.
Now, speaking of social media, a lot of the players, and I follow them, and they follow